Who's wrong and who's wronger? In this corner, followed by millions, James, the exploding unicorn, Breakwell. And in that corner, ignored by millions, Steve Olivas.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wrong and Wronger. This is the podcast that features me, Steve the Hurricane Olivas, and him, James the Light Drizzle Breakwell. And we are coming to you every week for just a 20-minute snippet of your life to bring a little bit of sunshine. And James, that's what we're all about, isn't it?
You be the sunshine, I'll be whatever the opposite of sunshine is. Eternal darkness? I don't know. Well, I'm not a science guy, okay?
All right, I'll be Ricochet Rabbit and you be Deputy Droop-Along today.
I'm just going to
And you don't even know what that reference is.
I have no idea. I think you just make these up because I can't call you out on it.
All right, well, Dep, let's see. We got a few things to cover today before we get to the grist of our mill, which is a debate that we engage in weekly, and we debate about topics that most people secretly harbor inner resentment for folks who don't think the way that they do about the debate. And just to tease a little bit, to portend, what are we talking about? What are we debating about this week?
We have a seasonally appropriate one. I guess all of our things are seasonally appropriate, of course. Ham versus turkey, which is better? Not just for holidays, but overall. I mean, Easter's right around the corner. I mean, this is a serious topic for serious people.
And I'm sure families have been driven apart by this mealtime disaster that can happen depending on the choice that the host or the hostess makes.
Fun fact, the ham versus turkey debate is the leading cause of divorce in America. Yeah. It's not money, it's not kids, it's ham versus turkey. Why? Do you doubt me? I did research for this episode. Come on.
I'm laughing at your second place category, which is kids. Kids are the leading cause of divorce in our country. Wow. Well, with the number of kids you got scattered around your house, your wife hasn't seen you for 13 years, right?
This is true. She's lost upstairs somewhere. We're actually going through a renovation right now, so who knows? She could have fallen through the floorboards and disappeared. I should probably go check. But instead, I'm here with you because that's how important this debate is.
I would like to go out on a limb and say that's how important I am to you.
That limb would break off and you would fall to your death.
Integral part of the Breakwell life. Now, before we get to the debate, we have a couple of pieces of unfinished business that we need to clear up from the last podcast.
I thought you forgot.
Would you mind just letting people know what you're thinking of right now?
Well, hold on a second. Let me see if I have the correct denomination. I believe I owe you... This is going to break the bank. I only have Twitter money. I believe I owe you one of these. Because apparently the candy industry is wrong. I correctly knew that a peanut butter cup is 3 times the size of a York peppermint patty. But somebody swapped out all the patties at the grocery store with larger fake patties, and now, I mean, what can I do? I've been bamboozled. You guys got the best of me. So I don't even know how to get you $1. How do I get $1 from Indianapolis to Nashville? You want me to PayPal it to you? Should I put it in an envelope and mail it with a 35-cent stamp like the Pony Express? I don't know how you sent money back in your day, but I can't even get this to you.
Okay. There are so many things that are disturbing about that monologue you just went on. If people want a little glimpse into my life, just pay attention to Breakwell talking about how the candy industry and the grocery store are both completely incorrect with the way that they conduct themselves.
Sorry, I'm dropping truth bombs on you tonight. It's time for you to take off the rose-colored glasses. It's time for you to see the world for what it is.
We are definitely bombing. There is no question about that. But the bet was, you had mentioned offhandedly that Reese's Peanut Butter Cups outweigh peppermint patties 3 to 4 times. They're 3 to 4 times heavier. And you found that apparently someone nefariously came in and diabolically changed out all the York peppermint patties. But that was not the case, right?
No, I'm pretty sure I was still right. But you know what? I will concede the fact that the evidence as it stands now supports you. So what can I do? I will somehow pay you this $1 at great expense to me. Because let's face it, you need this money more than I do.
There's very little doubt about that. And that dollar will go under glass. And if I am ever back in Journey 2 Studios, and right now I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, I didn't go all the way to Tacoma, nor did I go to Philadelphia, nor Atlanta, nor LA, and you still don't know what that reference
I get that
is leaning
one.
toward.
It's a song. I couldn't tell you which song, but it's a song.
Oh my God, are you kidding? Can you tell me who the song is by?
No, I don't know music, man. All I know is things you're wrong about. That's my exclusive area of expertise. I don't know pop culture. I don't know music. I don't know anything, man. I just focus on the topics I have to beat you at. Like tonight, I'm the leading hamologist or turkeyologist in the world. Whichever side I get, I've got all the facts.
All right. Well, I will gladly accept your dollar. And I made a quick list of everything I'm going to buy with the dollar, or things that I could buy. Like I could get a DVD from Redbox, or I could put air in my car tires, or I could make 2 calls from a payphone. They're 50 cents now. I don't know if anybody realizes that.
Are you going to put it under glass if you spend it? You can't have your cake and eat it too.
All right. I will put it under glass then. I'm going to buy a frame. There's a frame that costs $8 that I'm going to put a $1 bill in, but that will be... I have monetized this podcast. Think about that. I have done the unthinkable.
It's a zero-sum game. You gained $1 by costing me $1. I'm probably going to spend more than $1 sending it to you. Not only that, when you calculate all the equipment we stupidly bought to do this podcast for free, like you would have to beat me at like 200 of these bets for us to break even, and then it would just be you. I'd be $200 further in the hole.
You just keep rolling them out, and I'll just keep knocking them down. But I do have a quick bone to pick with you, and I want to know, why did you pick the photograph of me to put as our still on YouTube? I look like a grouper that's about to feed. That picture you have of me.
When I load it up to YouTube, it usually gives me 3 options, or I have to go back and create like a custom thumbnail, which I'm probably capable of, but far too lazy to do. So I have to choose from the 3. And my highest priority is that I don't look stupid. So I look at my picture, and I pick that one, and I don't even look at you. Like, I figure you have so little dignity that it won't even matter. I'm honestly shocked that you would care what people think you look like, because have you seen you? I don't think you have.
I am a glowing cherub over here, and... You make me look like a rainbow trout just about to bite down on the hook.
Made you look like a rainbow trout, and it only shows you what's there. It can't create images that don't exist.
All right. Well, right after that picture was taken, I must have sneezed horribly all over the camera lens. But that was my bone to pick with you. We do have to, and we're already 7.5 minutes into this beast. We've got to come up with a compliment to pay each other, because we do just a little, it's like a handshake before the competition begins.
Yes.
And I know that you've got something cooking, but I'll go first just to give you time to get something cooking.
If you insist, okay.
I don't insist. It would have been volleyed right back to me if I wouldn't have. But I do want to compliment you on, and I hate to keep bringing back things that were awful and humiliating for you, but that punishment video that you did, I remember talking about your risky business Tom Cruise dance a 3 weeks ago, but your Saturday Night Fever dance was one of the funniest things I have ever watched on YouTube. And if you, dear viewer, do not subscribe to our YouTube channel, you don't know what you're missing. This is gold, this stuff. Breakwell even went so far, and I don't know how deep your wardrobe goes, but he got Travolta's outfit nailed head to toe from that video. That's a little picture-in-picture on the side of the screen. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he had pants up to his armpits, and I didn't have armpit pants, so I just took regular pants and pulled them way up, and you couldn't tell the difference. People back then just had no standards or basic understanding of how pants work, and that's okay. I gotta say though, those are not great dancing clothes. Like, I don't know if any clothes for me would be great dancing clothes. I just kind of flop around out there like a fish out of water. But you know what? I got the outfit right, and that was the closest I came on the whole video. The rest of it was just me madly flailing, but I'm glad you were able to enjoy my humiliation. That's what this is all about. To continue earning those $0 a week so that I can go into the hole when I lose a $1 bet.
Wow. Way to snap defeat out of the jaws of victory with that compliment. That was great.
That's what I do.
And you said fish out of water. We got a whole maritime theme working here.
Do.
We got groupers and rainbow trout and fish out of water, but I'm going to sit back and bask in the warm glow of your compliment to me now.
I have the closest I've ever come to a real compliment.
What?
Yeah, so I watched.
So still not close, but go
yeah,
ahead.
I listened to your last episode of The Commute. If you don't know, Steve had a podcast before this called The Commute, which is actually how we started off podcasting. We came on there, and I was his greatest guest ever. And later on, I met him in a CD bar, and I was like, "Hey, let's do a podcast together." But anyway, after that, I obviously didn't listen to him ever again because I have standards. But then I found out he was ending his other podcast to continue just with this one. So I tuned in to your last podcast, Steve, not because I wanted to hear it, but because you were your own guest. You had somebody come on to interview you. And I thought, you know what? I should learn about Steve so I can use that information to destroy him. And so I did. I listened to the whole thing, and I came to realize that I really owe you a compliment because you were able to admit just how important I am to you. You can't do a podcast without me. You had two podcasts. And you had to end the one that I wasn't on. I mean, that's just science. We've got a control, and we've got the variant over here, the experiment. And now you can tell which one's still going. It's this one. So props to you for recognizing how great I am. That was really big of you, Steve.
I have erected a shrine in your honor in my basement. That I got a little lock of your hair from that time we met at the CD bar. It was right after you passed out.
Yeah. That one beer was rough.
You know what's funny is the gal who interviewed me is a friend of both of ours that we know, named Kate Hall, and you came up twice in that doggone last podcast.
Did. I was listening to it in the car on the way to daycare. I was putting my poor kids through it, to the younger two, and they said, "Dad, they said James Breakwell. They're talking about you." Yeah, they're talking about me.
You know what? Seriously, I remember thinking, as the second time I mentioned you, I remember thinking, I hope he doesn't listen to this because his head is going to swell to the point he's going to need like a Honda Odyssey minivan just to fit his whole body into it.
That is what I drive, so there you go.
Do you really?
I do, but you know what? I shouldn't have admitted that because they don't pay me anything, so I shouldn't. Got to stop endorsing things for no reason.
All right, we'll go with a Ryder truck then instead.
There you go.
But yes, the unicorn, I thank God every night that he's walked into my life because otherwise, how else could I not relax when I'm on the road? Because I got to record one of these things and get it to him every week that I'm out. But thank you.
It's not my fault you're effectively homeless, okay? That is your lifestyle choice, not mine.
That is true. But yeah, if anyone wants to learn about me, if anyone wants to learn about Breakwell, by the way, you really did pull the curtain back on your life in the podcast you did with me on The Commute. And your show was the most popular one that I had in the entire run of 79 episodes. But if any of the listeners want to learn about you, go to The Commute. Go to my Twitter feed. You can always connect through SoundCloud or just look for Olivas and you can find The Commute. And listen to the Breakwell episode. It's very good. And you can listen to the last one if you care at all about who I am or where I come from.
Are you seriously pimping your dead podcast? It's a little late for that now. The patient has been buried 6 feet underground, but...
It's still active. It's the week.
Okay.
But I do think if you have fans, and I can't imagine a world where that might be true, but they might be interested in you as a person behind the scenes, and you don't always get that. You just kind of get the public front, the managed.
Are you implying I'm a phony? That this is not the real me? So let me tell you, I am never more real than when I am insulting you. Like me being nice, me being civil, that is the fake me. Me tearing into you, this is the most honest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. And if people don't know, I'll text you like, "Hey, how you doing?" And you'll write back like, "You suck." And that's sort of the nature of our conversation.
Except, it's wittier and it makes you cry. But yeah, basically.
All right, we got to get through this thing. We got like 3.5 minutes left before we got to start wrapping. So
right.
we got people want to know.
Yeah, flip that quarter.
All right, I have the Guam Quarter of Fate with me because this week I remembered every bit of equipment that I'm supposed to have. So what are the two sides of the quarter going to represent?
Heads up, I'm ham. Tails up, I'm turkey.
All right, heads is ham. That makes sense. Here we go. Guam Quarter of Fate is up on the back of my hand, and it is tails.
I'm turkey?
Turkey wins for Breakwell.
Thank goodness, because turkeys have to be the dumbest animal alive, and their only function is to be eaten. Thank goodness they taste so good. I mean, they are ugly. They are stupid. They drown by looking up at the rain as it comes down. Nobody has a pet turkey. Like, you can have a pet pig. Nobody has a pet turkey. They're just a useless, dirty animal, but they happen to taste pretty good. So let's let them fulfill their one and only use to humanity and eat them for the holidays. I mean, ham is like a side focus of holidays. It's at Easter, it's at Christmas sometimes, but you don't go to Christmas for the ham. You go there for the presents and for the family. You don't go to Easter for the ham. You go there for the Easter bunny and the eggs. But Thanksgiving, you go for the turkey. It's the only food that has a main event, that has a whole holiday built around it. And without turkey, Thanksgiving would collapse. The foundation of America would collapse. We have linchpinned ourselves to that giant, delicious bird. I mean, how can you possibly want anything else for any holiday other than turkey?
Well, first of all, I got a word for you that is almost outlawed on Twitter these days, and the word is moist. That there is almost no way humanly possible that you can cook a turkey and still keep the meat juicy and succulent. Ham doesn't have that problem. Ham has kind of just a natural water base that maintains when you put it in the oven for a couple of hours. You can glaze ham. There's like different flavors that you can put with it. And what could be better than pineapple? People put pineapples on ham, and that just enhances the whole meal. Turkey doesn't have any accoutrement like that makes it better. In fact, what makes turkey
stuffing?
Are you kidding me? Stuffing will divide nations. Whether you have dressing or stuffing, whether you put pecans in it or almonds or walnuts.
So what you're saying is there's hundreds of options, whereas ham just has pineapple. You just destroyed your own argument as you made it.
No, you know, of those hundreds of options for turkey stuffing, only like 3% of them are any good. There's a bunch of them that people try to do their take on turkey stuffing, and it's terrible every time. It's always messed up, and it still doesn't keep the turkey moist. People tried like deep frying a turkey, and you've seen some of the rocket ships that's created on YouTube. People burning down neighborhoods trying to figure out, how can I cook this turkey and not screw it up? Turkeys are the most finicky, persnickety cooking things that we have. Ham, and by the way, a whole industry has been based around ham, honey baked, the whole honey baked legacy, all of the different franchises around the country, they're based on ham, spiral cut ham, because everyone loves ham. And lastly, I have to sort of argue for ham because that is the only meat of choice in the Olivas house, because my wife will not eat a turkey. She will cross the street to avoid eating turkey, which is a little bit weird to me, but she only eats ham. And my son is sort of like that. He came from a pod, and I don't know how that all works. But anyway, I love ham. Yeah, how do you not like ham? Thin sliced deli cut ham on a little bit of rye bread with some cheese on the top and a splash of Grey Poupon.
You don't
it's
eat
fabulous.
that for holidays. You don't eat thin sliced ham for a holiday event. It's never.
Why are you limiting your argument to a holiday?
Because we're coming up on the holidays. That's when these things are featured. And turkey is primarily a holiday bird. It is so great and so ornate that we have to build up a big occasion for it. You don't just casually cook a turkey like, hey, what's for dinner? Oh, I spent the last 8 hours cooking a turkey. No big deal. No, it is a whole production, and that's why we give it its own day. It's so important that you have to do it once a year, or you get kicked out of America. I mean, seriously, Abraham Lincoln wrote that into law. Thou shalt eat a turkey, or you got to go to Canada. That's where Canadians come from. That's their origin story. And even Canadians like turkey. They've realized the error of their ways, and they eat it now too.
Canadians call ham bacon. That's how much they love ham.
They love turkey too. They really do. They have their own Thanksgiving up there. That's on a completely different day, but it's still got turkey, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I should have done some research on this part of this. I'm totally guessing on Canadian Thanksgiving here. But
I don't know. They love boxes too. I don't understand that one either.
I'm just sad that you can only, that you cook all the moisture out of everything but ham. You've got this soggy, aquatic, watery ham, and then all your other food is just completely dried. I'm sorry you don't know how to cook meat. I'm sorry you never learned that. I'm sorry you wasted your man card. But most of all, I'm sorry that you've never tasted a smoked turkey. It is God's single greatest creation. I mean, you put that thing in a barrel smoker for hours and it comes out and oh my gosh, it just melts in your mouth. You've got light meat and you've got dark meat. You've got two different options. The flavor is there. I mean, there's a reason when you go on YouTube, you're going to see 10,000 videos on how to cook a turkey and one video on how how to cook a ham. It's like, just throw it in the oven, you idiot. I mean, that's what
easy.
it is. Yeah, it's disappointing. There's no challenge to it. It doesn't need its own holiday. It's an afterthought. It's forgotten. Turkey is worth the trouble. That's how great it is. It needs to be this big production, and we do it anyway. You know how lazy we are as a nation? You know how many things we put effort into? Not very many, but turkey is worth it. And that's why we build our fall around that occasion. That's why everybody gets the day off school and off work. I mean, there's a reason. If we were cooking hams for Thanksgiving, it'd be like a Thanksgiving afternoon. All right, throw the ham in for an hour and you're done. No, you need a Thanksgiving day.
You know, turkey is also like the Rohypnol of the food industry, because you pass out after you have turkey, and you're just wide open for anyone rifling through your wallet at that point. That's voice of experience talking.
Is this really your argument? Turkey leads to theft?
Turkey leads to theft. That's exactly right.
The tryptophan argument has been debunked. It has a marginal amount of tryptophan, but really what makes you fall asleep is consuming 10,000 calories, which you can do with ham too if it was as good as turkey. But the reason people don't gorge themselves on ham is it just doesn't taste as good as turkey. And you know what? You eat that turkey all you want. Nobody's going to rob you of your dollar under glass. I promise you.
Well, they better not pry that thing out of my cold, dead hands. Speaking of things that take a ton of effort but are worth it, with this podcast and all the effort we've put into it has to draw to a conclusion. And just when it comes to holidays, you got a Thanksgiving turkey, but you got an Easter ham. So we're coming into ham season, baby. But do the wrap here. Tell people where they can hear us and what's going to happen with regard to the poll.
All right, so on YouTube, you can follow us on Wrong and Wronger. Hopefully that's where you're watching us now, because it is our main spot. That's where we post all of our penalty videos for when Steve loses. You can also follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, all Wrong and Wronger. Just search for it. It pops right up. And hit that subscribe button, because it's all that Steve has in his life. I mean, he's out there lonely on the road, and without these subscription numbers, who knows what's going to happen, okay? Let's save a life here. So we're going to go ahead.
Even if it's mine.
We're going to roll the dice here to pick the options. We're going to have a poll on Exploding Unicorn on my Twitter account, at Exploding Unicorn without the E. There's also going to be a parallel poll on my Facebook page, Exploding Unicorn with the E. You can vote at either places. Vote both if you want, as long as you're voting for me. So I'm going to put down some random options to confuse the people who try to vote without actually watching the podcast.
Oh, I hate people.
All right, so this is for Steve. Steve's number is 10. And
ooh, a perfect 10.
Yeah.
I like that.
My number is 89. And
89. Benny Cunningham, Pittsburgh Steeler tight end
I'm just
from the 70s.
going to assume you're wrong. You're always wrong on those. And the random is
number
48.
10 was Roy Jarella, the kicker. What?
All right, 48 for the random. So 10 for
Jimmy
Steve
Johnson.
if you think ham is the best, which is not.
10.
Then 89 for James if you want to vote for that succulent turkey that America depends on. And
10.
48 for the random one if you want to throw your vote away. And there will also be some crazy fourth option if you really, really want to throw your vote away, which about 80% of people do.
All right, very good. So catch us on YouTube or SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, iTunes, and subscribe. We got to get those subscriptions. It's the only thing keeping James on this side of sanity, and you don't want to see what's on the other side. All right, we got to wrap this thing, but before we go, let's do a little tease. What are we talking about next week, James?
We're probably going to be talking about the penalty video you're doing. By the way, the penalty, once again, is if you lose, you have to act out an embarrassing scene from a movie. We don't even mention it anymore because we're so uncreative we can't think of a better penalty, but also it's hilarious to watch us fail. Let's just face it. We're good at failing at embarrassing movie scenes.
Watch Breakwell Saturday Night Live. All right, until next week, this is Steve Olivas, Dr. Steve for James the Exploding Unicorn Breakwell, saying thank you for watching, everybody. And I can't remember what our outgoing
You botched your last line. You have one written line for this whole podcast, and you couldn't do it.
What is it?
Oh my
You gotta
God.
help
It's a
me.
good thing I don't pay you. This is not even worth the dollar. This is Steve Olivas and James the Exploding Unicorn Breakwell signing off, proving once again that two wrongs do make a right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.